What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. We are the Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys, and welcome back to the first podcast back in 2024.
Happy New Year!
Wow, Alex, I haven't seen you since last year, man.
That's
I haven't heard that one before, Dad.
That was a good one. That was a good one. For any dads watching, you got to be proud of this guy. Come on,
That's
let's
a
go.
good one, Sonny.
So, we decided, 2024, it's a new year, new us. So, we decided to just kind of, casually come together and talk about a few things that are coming out this year. Tonight, as we're recording this. So we got a few things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Echo, talk about the Superman Legacy casting updates, a couple of other updates going on with our favorite franchise, Star Wars, and I know I sounded sarcastic, but I mean,
laugh, but I'm in pain.
yeah, we love Star Wars, but it is good news. It is good news. So yeah, I think we should just jump right into it.
Let's do it. Call us a diving board.
Yes. The diocese.
Made no sense whatsoever.
All right, perfect.
Call us the board in which creates jumping mechanics.
Yes.
Anyway,
Good.
like
that.
Guys.
So as we're recording this, right now, Echo has not come out yet.
Comes out in T-minus 4 hours.
Yeah, so we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit here, but
jumping the James.
Dan, you got to be happy about this one.
I am. Okay, well, yes, I'm excited because we have officially canonized Netflix Daredevil, which has been up in the air. Like for a while it was non-canon, and then they kind of soft rebooted with She-Hulk, and now they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's canon now because they the latest Echo trailer, which came out a couple days ago, merged all of Daredevil and Kingpin's appearances in Marvel properties into the Echo trailer, being like, hey, here's what you missed. So that means that it's actually, at least the way I see it, I don't know if there was an official statement put out, but that is officially canon now, which is great because I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I really, really like the Netflix Daredevil series, and it's very near and dear to my heart.
Really?
And no.
What?
And then when She-Hulk came out, and I saw that Daredevil, and I was like, and so I'm glad that Echo was kind of taking the turn towards the Netflix style mature. It's rated mature. If you didn't get that from the trailer,
TVMA, the boys.
So, but no, it's exciting because we get Big Vinny D'Onofrio back as Kingpin, which we saw in Hawkeye, and he was egregiously shot at the end of it. Spoilers, but it is what it is. But I'm
Big
excited.
Shirt guy too in that
Yeah,
one.
huge fan of Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
Reminds me of somebody.
Now you're just somebody that I used to.
I think it was I can't remember his name off the top of my head, and big fans of research here on this podcast for sure. But a Marvel producer actually came out, and he's been around for ages. Again, don't know his name, but
big preparation guys.
Huge preparation guys for this. But anyway, he's the one who came out and said in a roundabout way that yes, it is canon now. But there's a ton of conversations going around online saying it's just head canon for producers at this point. So it's they're still going to pick and choose, but it'll follow the same general it'll make sense if you watch them together, but they're not going to get nitpicky with well, Elektra did this when she turned the corner in that one scene. It's
that to me isn't important as long as it's just they maintain the tone and the style of the characters.
100%.
Because we saw Kingpin in Hawkeye for the first 6 episodes was the Kingpin we knew, and then he just gets dummied by Kate Bishop, and then I was like, okay, I've lost all semblance of this character that I once knew and loved. So the turn back makes me hope that I'm still very cautiously
Doesn't that suck,
optimistic.
Dan?
Yeah,
Doesn't that suck when you just love a character so much and it just gets stomped on in front of you?
Yeah, especially when it's the same casting. I know you haven't had to see the same casting be absent. Well, I guess actually, yeah, you have. No, never mind. Just kidding. You did see Ben Affleck get destroyed by Andy Machete. But so yeah, but point.
It hurts,
but
doesn't
yeah,
it?
It does. It does, man.
Welcome
it
to
really
the club,
does.
Dan.
It really does.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that I'm cautiously optimistic, but I hope it comes back to that.
It's fun on this side.
Yeah, from what I've been seeing, the first social media reactions, people are kind of mixed about it because you have far left Marvelites that if you deviate at all tonally from what the MCU has shown so far, they're well, it's too dark, and why are they doing this? And then there's the middle that I've seen that has been it's a cereal box version of the Netflix shows, but a step in the right direction. because they chose to do a mini series, which basically means it's like a cheap Marvel movie split into 5 parts.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side that's just like, for what we've got ever in the MCU, this is like the darkest we have gotten, like the most characterization, like well characterized characters that we've seen so far. So
that's good.
I'm assuming we're gonna land in that, 2 or 3/3 area.
Yeah.
But I can't picture it being like, even just based on what we've seen,
Yeah.
like it does look tonally much better than, like, I mean, the last thing we really have to base it off of, like with Daredevil characters, is She-Hulk and Hawkeye. So
is Daredevil gonna don the Parable of the Mustard Seed suit? Or
I
no?
hope not.
No.
I hope not.
in the trailer,
trailers,
in that
it's
lead
red,
fight
yeah.
scene, it's red.
Okay,
and it
good.
looks phenomenal.
Good,
So-
wonderful.
It looks incredible.
I'm pretty excited to watch it. I actually had no idea it was coming out until the first trailer dropped. So
I forgot it was
looks
until I
great.
saw it.
And you guys are gonna kill me. Fuck. I haven't actually watched the Hawkeye show.
You don't have to.
Oh, okay, good.
I was screaming in anger in the last episode, so
Okay.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? To be
It was
fair,
a good show.
It was a good
Because
show
this
up
show is a
until the last
spin-off. Is a
episode.
spin-off of Hawkeye, right? Am I
Well,
correct?
no, it's like his follow-up story, and then it's about him
Oh.
training Kate Bishop, who wants
Okay,
to
okay.
be the
All
next
of his
Hawkeye.
stuff was great.
Yeah,
the
no, it
Kate
was
Bishop
good,
stuff
yeah.
is pretty
Literally
solid
until
too,
the
but
last
yeah.
episode.
I
where
enjoy- yeah,
Kingpin
to
comes out
reiterate.
in a
Yeah.
fucking white
He's in
suit,
Hawaii.
The
and a
red
Hawaiian
jumpsuit
shirt,
apparatus. Yeah.
tears an entire car door off, and then has like the stupidest fight with Kate and loses
She throws
instantly.
a
And you're
nickel
like,
at him and loses.
nice.
Yeah.
So glad that you
Right.
took this character, made him a
Right.
menace, and then turned him into a little bitch in the last fucking 2 minutes.
At least they
But-
didn't Project Iceman him, because I was really worried he was dead, and that was the last we were ever going to see of Vincent D'Onofrio. Like that was my.
Would've been
I was,
wasted potential.
oh
Yeah,
man, I
for
was like,
sure.
I was on like YouTube videos commenting, like I'm so upset that they did. I was like that guy. I went full comment rage in the YouTube section, watching it. And
I
then
must release this anger.
it was like somebody needs to know how I feel about this.
Listen to me.
YouTube.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're going back there, and I'm also really glad too that like Daredevil, who's like a really awesome character, is being introduced in the MCU to a very tertiary character show. But whatever, that's fine.
I mean, technically,
Echo is a
now
big
that it's
part of
canon,
yeah.
he was introduced in No Way Home,
oh yeah, true. Yeah,
so
true.
which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was a great cameo. I was like one of those guys in the theater, like really, really excited about that.
Yeah,
That was
I'm
just a
pretty
great.
sure I
That was just a good. The
urinated.
way the scene played out in general was great.
Yeah, the way he catches that brick.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I was like, how'd you do that? I'm a really good lawyer. It's like,
it's
oh,
amazing. I just got
stop it,
chilly.
Matt.
And
Stop
you tell
it, Matt.
Too, like Peter's just like, okay.
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
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 No, that was great.
Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. So anyone listening, keep an eye out for what we think about that. Hopefully they knock it out of the park, because
I hope so.
the rest of this year is
long as it's not shit.
looking good.
Yeah.
like even
The
if
bar
it's
has
like
been set really
okay,
high
like
for us
I would
lately.
rather it be okay than awful. So
Yeah.
please,
It better be the best fucking thing I've ever seen in my life, or else I'm just canceling my Disney Plus subscription. No, I'm kidding. I hope it's
canceling the yearly subscription we pay for up front. Here we come.
yeah, split 5 ways. Yeah, I'm canceling
Cancel
my
it now.
$20.
So yeah, by the end of the year, it'll be up.
Yeah. But I mean, hopefully it is good, because this year, I'm just kind of taking a look as we're talking here. This next year is looking pretty dismal in terms of superhero movies. I mean, I guess we can kind of go through like what's next for 2024, as I have it right in front of me. So we have,
I guess so.
I mean, like, well, I mean, okay. So here's the thing: this year,
What are
sorry,
our heavy hitters?
Madam Web.
Right out the gate. Yeah, it's coming in hot.
No. It's just listen.
Stoked for that one.
Listen,
Sony verse
I don't
song.
know. Like, no
Miss it.
offense to anybody if
Madam
you're listening
Morbius.
or watching. If you're excited about any of these movies, it's just the Sony properties are kind of going to be hitting hard this year. There's going to be a lot of them. We've got Madam Web. We got Kraven the Hunter. Venom 3's coming out apparently in November.
Three strikers.
I mean,
You're outskirts. You know.
I don't know. I'm not really excited about any of these. Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter, they're interesting characters in terms of the books. I just don't think they merit their own film. Like, I just think it's going to be really difficult, especially something like Kraven the Hunter. I just feel like it'd be really difficult to make an interesting and compelling Kraven the Hunter story
Yes.
without Spider-Man.
Spoods.
I don't know.
Here's my big thing about that. I could like go on for hours about this, but there's zero reason whatsoever why they should have started their own villain universe. Because A, they don't make them villains ever. They're just like anti-hero movies.
Like
B,
Black Adam.
well,
Black Adam was not a hero, right?
yeah, well, yeah.
Well, we didn't hear it enough. So.
The hilarious thing is they're not even like anti-heroes either. They just end up being full-fledged heroes with like a tinge of like, oh, I hurt that guy. Oh,
Literally.
he's a bad guy. Oh, he's an
Yeah.
anti-hero.
And
He's not a
Brock's
good
like,
guy.
Venom, you can't kill anyone. He's like, sorry.
Yeah.
And then it's like, nice. That's awesome. That's really what I want to
So
see.
he's
And then he
superhero.
only kills bad guys, so it's like, okay, so you're a hero.
Yeah.
basically.
It's
So
just
every superhero
and
ever.
Yeah.
when you think about it, that idea alone of taking a villain and making them an anti-hero is an interesting idea if you do it with like one character, but like not necessarily with every character,
Every
ever,
single
you know what I mean?
Spider-Man villain on the roster.
I mean, like Madam Web. I don't know. I've been reading comics for a long time, so I know who Madam Web is. But I mean,
My
like
only
I could only
interaction-
imagine.
the 90s show.
that's the only way
Sure.
I ever
The
knew her
90s
was from
Spider-Man
the
show in that
90s
one
cartoon.
episode you see her. That's like the only time I've ever seen.
But it's like I can imagine like, and I'm not saying that like they have to only make movies with like big characters, but I'm just saying like, could you imagine like someone like a younger generation, like just behind us, even that grew up on like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, being like, oh, Madam what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like, who is that character?
even general audiences. I can't remember what movie I was seeing, but they were doing the trailers and Madam Web came on, and like literally the people beside me were like audibly like, "What's this?
Yeah.
Like, who is that?"
And
Like,
then they saw Sydney Sweeney, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, I'll watch
they
it, I
saw, like,
guess.
half
You
like a
piqued my
Spider-Man
interest
scene.
now.
Yeah, but it's like, it's like,
Yeah, they gotta relax. Like there's been a hot rumor going around too that now they've been like canonizing everything, that they're gonna forcefully canonize everything in the Sonyverse too, to like lead to Spider-Man 4 being like some weird pseudo Sinister Six BS where like
the Sonyverse is the CW of Marvel.
like actually
Basically,
though,
like,
yeah.
except they have higher budget, but they're still shit.
Yep.
Relax. CW's had some bangers
Okay,
throughout pop culture.
A
Come
few.
on,
Sure.
Smallville,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The
like,
Flash, first 4 seasons.
the early days of CW.
Riverdale.
I'm talking modern
Riverdale.
CW.
Listen, I love Riverdale.
Huge Riverdale. dude.
I love Riverdale.
Yeah, I know you do.
Great show. So, anyways, all that aside, we like Sony's kind of hitting it big. Again, if you're listening and you're excited about these films, we're not trying to like outright bash them. It's just we're struggling to understand the mindset behind the studio.
With
With the
all.
current track record that the
Yeah.
studio's been putting out,
Shaquille
minus
O'Neal.
the Spider-Verse movies,
I like, and like I said, I just feel like it's hard. Like when I was watching the trailer for Kraven the Hunter, I'm like, I'm sure it's going to look great and the performance is going to be great, but I don't really want to watch a Kraven the Hunter movie without Spider-Man, because like with some of these villains, it's like you kind of. That's why the Joker works. Well, that's actually a bad example because the Joker solo film was good. But I mean, a lot of these villains only really work when you have the hero as their antithesis and vice versa, right? So I don't know.
It's a reason why a lot of them are as popular as they are. You know what I mean? Like Venom spawned because of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So like I want to see that interaction before I see anything else.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see
the-
3 solo Venom movies before I get them two on screen together with our current canon Spider-Man.
Right.
It's like,
And I'm not saying
that
you
goes
can't-
for all of them for that matter.
I'm not saying you can't do it as well, because like I said, the Joker solo film,
Well, if
the
it's written
Joaquin
well, you can
Phoenix
do
one
anything,
was
but-
great. What's that?
I said if anything's written well, like anything can happen.
No,
but they're not
100%.
written well whatsoever.
So actually, speaking of Joker, Joker the sequel is supposed to be coming out in October.
yes.
I don't really know how to speak
Next
French. Foil à deux. Sorry. Don't even get me started on that movie. Hold on.
Is it coming out this year?
Okay, wait, why I missed that?
Well, I hope so.
June.
Oh,
Hope so.
Oh yeah. I
Holy
think so.
shit. I hope
Like,
so. I
at
thought it was
the
coming
end
out
of the
last
year.
year. Shit. Deadpool 3 is also coming out, obviously.
Metal
That's gonna
Rush.
be
I'm
crazy.
excited for that one.
Yeah.
As I already said, Venom 3 is on the slate. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is also on the slate as
there was
well.
a second one.
Yeah.
That wasn't even like a joke.
no,
I didn't even need to know that.
Now
Okay.
that you said it, I'm like, oh yes, they introduced Knuckles and Tails. In the second
Right.
one,
And then Shadow's
Well,
gonna
Tails is
be in
with
3.
them, sir.
But I don't know, my most anticipated film so far this year is obviously Doom Part 2.
I'm actually so pumped for that.
I just can't wait. I just
Yeah.
can't wait for Ben to see it so we can actually start loving the franchise.
The second one does look insane though. Like the shots on I don't know the planet name, but the black and white. looking shots.
Salusa Secundus.
Yes.
Or no,
No,
sorry,
no.
sorry.
It's
No,
the
no. It's
Harkonnen
the Harkonnen.
Continue. Anyways, I'm
Getty Prime.
Yes.
Yes, the Getty
Yes.
Prime stuff looks amazing. What do you have for that one?
Getty Lee's Prime membership.
Getty
images.
Visit to Gettysburg. Yeah.
Getty images.
We all just go off immediately.
Word. How about sorry to like distract the other day when we were just all texting word
Yeah.
association for like
Should I just
half an
read that
hour?
out? Should I just read this conversation out? The word association.
It's good shit. It's good shit.
God.
And apparently, we're hearing that a Blade film is going to be coming out. Is Batman Part 2 supposed to be
Is
coming
that
out
supposed to
this
be coming
year?
out this year? I doubt it. They
What,
haven't-
I think they're
Blade?
in
Yeah.
production.
Blade?
No, they're in like pre still, aren't they?
Like
they
for
were
the
in production.
Batman.
Oh no, I'm talking about Blade.
Oh,
Oh,
we're sorry. We're
okay.
talking about
Yeah.
Blade. I can't wait for another Blade movie. It's gonna be
Yeah.
We
sick.
should also review last year's movies as well. I
Mm.
think.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Let's
yeah. A
take
lot of great ones came out last year.
Yeah,
and,
like, I
let's
really
see.
had to.
Before we
Black
get into
Power.
movies, can we just talk about the Spider-Man game for
Yes.
PlayStation?
Ooh, yeah,
though?
true.
Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes.
I know it doesn't really count as a movie, but the
Yes.
story of that was
was
tremendous.
phenomenal.
Yes.
It was.
Just
it took you a long time to finish it. Then
It was
it was really clean.
Just really
It was
capitalistic.
it took you guys were playing it for a while. It took you a little bit to finish it.
Yeah,
then.
it took us
Completed
about
to
48
100
hours.
I remember I
Really didn't
texted
move
you
from
guys
the
like 2 days later, and then I was like, "Oh, how's Spider-Man?" And Ben's like, "Yeah, it was amazing. We're done." I'm
100%
like, "Oh,
yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
sick."
It was so good though.
It
Like,
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost too good. And
Yeah.
then we were like, when is the rest coming out?
Yeah.
Undetermined. Um,
How do you guys feel about Baldur's Gate 3 winning the best game of the year award over Spider-Man 2?
I didn't play it, so
Yeah, no, I haven't played either.
I'm
so-
currently. I just finished chapter 1
of what?
of Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, you're playing it?
I'm currently playing
How
it
is
right
it?
now.
I heard it's really cool.
It's cool. I've never played D&D before. Like
neither.
or like I've played it once in like university. So like I don't have a lot of. It's literally just D&D.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I'm enjoying it. It's not for everybody, but if you're willing to like learn the mechanics of how D&D operates and like just immerse yourself into like the story game, like it's really cool just being able to like literally do whatever you want
Tell
through
you
the
what,
narrative.
I love me a fucking RPG. So
It is literally through and through an RPG, and
Yeah.
it's really cool. It's just all talking. Like if you're looking for an action game, it's not for you. It's not Spider-Man.
Oh, I
It is
gotcha, I
purely
gotcha.
just action through dialogue and then turn-based combat.
cool.
you know what's funny? I saw this TikTok that basically said that it's AAA RuneScape, and I was like, that's so accurate.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, like even down to like the
Is it
viewing
accurate,
angle and like
I've never
you
actually
never
played
played,
RuneScape.
but like
Oh.
I was watching over your shoulder the one night you were
And it
playing,
is?
and I'm like, it's literally just AAA RuneScape,
I
That's
gotta
incredible.
say,
and that's
though,
just dissing RuneScape because like that's a incredibly
I
fleshed out RPG,
Still,
and
I
still,
it's still
love,
going
still
strong.
love
yeah.
RuneScape. Still go back to
Yeah.
it every
It
once
was
in a
a
while.
I mean, just like okay,
Halo of
visually a
childhood.
AAA. like,
sure.
Yeah.
I must say the voice acting in this game is the best voice acting I've ever heard in any video
Really?
game.
Interesting.
It's
I've heard that a lot actually. yeah.
tremendous the voice acting, and like don't get me wrong, I think Yuri Lowenthal deserved to win for best voice actor for Spider-Man, but like I understand, I don't know who did win for it was, I think it was somebody from Baldur's Gate 1 best
I don't
voice
even
actor,
know.
but I think Yuri Lowenthal absolutely crushed it out of the park with Spider-Man, but like just through and through every single NPC and every single character that you interact with in Baldur's Gate 3, the voice acting is like tremendous. Like it's like not
That's
your
cool.
typical like I need you to go get a canister of water, you know, like AI voice. Like it's like actual like
It's like
you're
a fucking Morrowind quest.
yeah.
Like the
You'll get
Oblivion
a canister
Inn
of
quest.
water.
Yeah.
So like they're like it's actually
good.
like really well written. So like I'm appreciating that side of it more. Than
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Best game I played last year was Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, so I think that's my number one. But like you said, Spider-Man. I haven't played it yet, like fully. Haven't bought it. I don't have a PS5, but just watching you guys playing it for like the little time that I did,
phenomenal.
I was like, wow, this is insane. Like
Especially
just
once
like
you get the spoiler. Well, I mean, it's not really spoiler. Everyone knows. Once you get the Venom suit, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, Black
Yeah.
Suit's phenomenal, and the
Yeah.
way they like let you keep it too is also kind of cool.
Yeah.
Potentially OP for the future.
Yeah,
but then,
interesting implications for the next game,
but then again, they like kind of like
Wrote them
dodge
aside.
and weave the implications because they're like, oh, Peter's gonna like pretty much retire for a little bit, and you're like, oh, okay, so like
So
that's why they're just gonna
story-
slowly push him out.
Well, even playing as Venom too was sick.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
unreal.
Like
that was
just
a nice
that
little
power.
surprise. Yeah.
Like oh wow, yeah.
But story wise,
He
they're
gets the
leaving it
anti-venom.
open for another game.
Yes, but the direction I think is it's going to be
Miles.
Miles is the main protagonist now,
cool.
so they're doing a little shift.
Yep.
And then Peter's going on the back. Well, not even the back burner, but like in the story, he basically says like, I gotta like relax for a
Sure.
bit
Yeah.
and just like go like chill with MJ.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
so
Awesome.
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'll get into it eventually. There's just not enough time in the day for all this stuff.
No.
You know what I mean? There's just not enough time.
Yeah,
But-
but plays for 12 hours straight.
I've never done that.
But in terms of how the rest of 2023 went movie-wise, we had some big heavy hitters. We had The Flash, we had Aquaman 2,
Rebel Moon.
Haven't even seen Aquaman 2 yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't either.
Even
No
from people
desire.
who aren't superhero fans are like, what is going on here? So yeah,
But I think off the top of your guys' heads, I think we should go around the table in all seriousness because there was some good stuff that
Let's
did
do
come
it.
out, and I think we should go through just like blurt out our top 3 films of 2023. So start over there, Dan.
Okay,
Top 3 films 2023.
Spider-Verse, number 1.
Ooh,
By
like
far.
that,
I think
like
that's
that.
a unified top 3.
Yeah,
for
I
all of
like
us.
I actually like genuinely had to look on IMDb at every movie that came out because it's hard for me to remember what movie. So Spider-Verse, you got to put Oppenheimer up there. It wasn't necessarily my favorite movie, but I appreciate like the artistic value of the movie. I like the Barbie movie was actually like incredible, so I have to put it on there as my list. But like just as another fun one, I didn't expect to like this movie, but I really liked it. Was the D&D movie, like the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
You're in a D&D phase.
I am in a
last year,
D&D
eh?
phase right now. I am, but like
Crazy.
I watched it and I was like, why is this actually like good? Like
I've
I was
actually heard-
not
I heard good
expecting it
things-
to be
I
good.
heard the good things
Like,
about it.
like unlike most of the like like the big blockbuster movies that came out this year, I actually like thought about this one for more than a day. I enjoyed it. I actually laughed a lot, and I thought it was a good time. So
Cool.
that one's on my list too. But
Love it.
Okay. Across the Spider-Verse was definitely, I think, probably my number 1. Oppenheimer is a close second, and then I would say John Wick 4.
I like that one.
I say like right behind it, just like tickling its rear is
just like a
yeah, just like slightly grazed in an elevator is like Guardians 3 for me.
Okay, yeah.
Guardians 3 was
That was
good,
really
yeah.
good too.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Nice,
How about you?
nice. Same thing, Spider-Verse, Oppenheimer, but I'm gonna take a little shift here and go to a show and the Blue Eye Samurai.
Oh, well, we can
fuck.
do
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah,
So
I
I know.
That's
I'm cheating.
different.
I'm cheating on
You're
this one 'cause
breaking the rules
listen,
here.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Like John Wick would have been my third choice,
Okay.
but since we were all saying the same shit, that show I didn't even know it existed, and you guys were watching it the one day, and I'm
It's
like,
amazing,
I love
yeah.
this. I'm like, we need to finish this season immediately. That was so good.
Yeah.
Voice acting is great. Story was cool. Visual. I didn't expect it to be
Animation,
that like M rated.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Right.
like people are just getting chopped up and stuff, and I'm like, this is incredible. So-
see, anime is cool, right, guys? Anime is cool.
but yeah, I don't know. The art, like the art style too, was awesome. Just I don't know,
Yeah.
everything about it was just well put together.
That's cool.
Mhm.
That's a
Have you
cool
seen
list.
it?
No, I haven't.
We were
but
talking about
I watched a trailer of it on my Netflix. So
I
I
feel
am.
like
I
if
am gonna
anyone
watch
would
it.
love it out of our
Yeah,
group.
you're gonna.
I do love samurai films. So that's actually interesting. So my list, I had to actually flip it. I think the best movie I saw all year, my favorite one was Oppenheimer.
Okay.
But then number 2,
The
like
score?
just underneath is Spider-Verse,
Okay.
which is weird because I think when we watched it, I loved Spider-Verse like the most out of I think all 4 of us, right? From our like initial reactions. So Oppenheimer won, Across the Spider-Verse. For the third one, I'll have to say The Boy and the Heron. I saw that right before 2023 like ended. It's the latest Miyazaki film, and I mean Miyazaki he's a master, like just a master storyteller. It was so good. Probably one of my favorite Miyazaki films, like out of his entire filmography. Not to have like a recency bias going on, but one more I want to kind of also shout out. It's a short film, so not like a full theatrical film, but one of my favorite things I saw last year was The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. It's a Wes Anderson short film. It was only about 40 minutes long-ish, but oh my God, I watched that and it was like all I could think about for like 2 weeks. It was just, I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan, so I mean that was one of the highlights of my year movie-wise. And then, of course, like Flash, Blue Beetle,
Oh my God.
you know what I mean? All that kind of
The
stuff.
classics.
Yeah, just classics.
But
Those are
I
I
love how we left the
immediately
Flash
pre-ordered.
being like, when we left the,
Yeah, it's
we're like,
true.
yeah,
You know what
it
though?
was good, yeah."
To be fair, there are like cool parts still.
Yeah.
Like I do think that first sequence when like you first see him like gear up and like start running was like
Yeah.
unreal. I was like, okay, like this is great.
It was just
And there are
undercooked.
various other things where I wanted to Blue Eye Samurai myself in the parking lot after.
It's
but,
seppuku.
It went down the Star Wars line of like there are cool parts in the film.
yeah,
but
it's like a
overall as
supercut of
movie,
cool
I'll never
parts
watch
with
it again.
absolute shit ones just woven in tightly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a huge manure field, It's like
Exactly.
necessary for health and growth, but I'll never
step
Be
foot
in
in it. Yeah. Huge for farming. Never want to see it though.
All good lists. There was a couple good ones. The other one I want to shout out to Killers of the Flower Moon, the Scorsese film. That was really great as well. Obviously, Scorsese. Again, another master. I mean, yeah, there was some good stuff that came out this year. I think unanimously, though, like Across the Spider-Verse and Oppenheimer are like the two that I think stuck out the most. I haven't seen Barbie, but I've heard really, really
It's
good
worth
stuff.
the watch. Yeah, it's
100%,
definitely
yeah.
worth.
I'll
the watch.
100% watch
It's
it.
a really good movie. Yeah.
But no, there was some good stuff. But I mean, it just shows that we don't even have enough comic book films that we liked or superhero films that we liked enough that we had to dip into other stuff. But we don't just watch superhero shit, guys. So I don't know what you want from us.
You know what? It's actually funny, like looking at the course of our channel, and when we were in the DC mode, we were like all in, let's go, and we were so disappointed by everything that we love that we didn't even bother seeing Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
The last movie in the DCEU, the piecemeal DCEU.
Yeah.
I feel like
We
we
didn't
should
even
just
see.
to see it.
I will eventually, but
Yeah.
I
Watch
am
it
not
once
in a
out.
rush.
Yeah, when it hits Netflix.
You know what the thing is, and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's a thing where it's like, okay, in these economic times, like, do I want?
I saved $12.
Yeah, going to the
serious.
movies is $50.
I gave it
Literally.
$5.
No, but seriously though, like in all seriousness, like I don't really want to go and spend money to go see that movie first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I mean, movies are expensive now. Like realistically, like movie tickets is like $15, $16. You get a bag of popcorn, you get a drink. It's like it's a good.
And
If
if
you're
you're
number one at Cineplex, it's like $25, $30, literally.
Yeah.
and if we're going in there and we know that we're probably not going to like this movie by the time we come out, it's like it's different if you were to go to a small theater, give an indie film a chance. You don't know what you're going to kind of get, but this is this is a big budget movie that we know what to expect, right? And it's like they're not going to exceed our expectations.
No, they're not going to exceed expectations. And I just think at this point, like, we know for a fact it's the last movie in the DCEU. We know for a fact that everything after this is quote unquote new, for the exception of
Sure.
obviously, the characters that he wanted to keep.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, there's zero reason or stakes to even see it, especially considering the fact that it's been called a buddy cop comedy.
Yeah. Which is exactly what I want out of an Aquaman film.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that people used to chirp the shit out of Aquaman as a character, and Zack Snyder is the one that came in and was like, you know
Yes,
what?
he
For
sure is.
his first, film appearance, I want him to be a badass. I don't want him to be looked at as a joke. And what happened to him as a character in this supposedly shared universe?
He
He
reverted back to
reverted to
that.
a joke.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not into it. I just don't want to see it. And I've heard what the mid-credit scene is, and it's just like, for that to be the last scene in the DC extended universe is just like a slap in the face to anyone who's ever liked any of those movies. So I'm good for now.
We'll probably eventually get around to it to let you guys know what we
Like,
think, but
super bored one night and it's there. I'm like, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not even really trying to throw any shade at this point. It's just the truth. You know what I mean? It's just the truth.
We've been in need for a reset for so long, and I'm not even just saying like us four. I'm saying I think the entirety of every DC fan ever has just been begging for just a slate wipe.
Yeah.
And I think until that happens, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
So-
until Legacy hits, or I guess whatever the animated show is first that drops, Creature Commandos, like, I literally just don't care anymore.
That's my
and-
most anticipated. I'm glad
Love
we're
how
kicking
that's
off
the
the
first
I
thing that-
love how we're kicking the
Yeah.
universe.
Creature.
Well, I mean,
Commando.
if you really think about it, I mean, it's relatively cheap to make.
Yeah, true.
Like it's it's
but
probably it's not
wouldn't-
going to be like boom, Big Bang, birth of the DC Universe, Creature Commandos, and
No,
then
I know,
appeared-
but why wouldn't
it's
you
just
wait
like
for that?
Yeah,
though?
I know.
Even if you can
I agree
do
with-
that, like
I agree
as a
with that, too.
brand. and,
No,
like,
I understand.
Hey,
I
you know what our
understand.
lead thing for this big change is going to be? Some shit no one's ever fucking heard about. Awesome.
Right? Yeah.
And you know, probably it'll just go under the radar. No one will, or like the hardcore people will go see it. But it's like
I will
to me,
still.
it's
I'm
just
still
I think
going to
it's
see
a
it.
show.
It's a
an
show.
animated show.
Yes,
It's a
okay,
show.
for sure. But what I'm saying is like, why wouldn't you be like, okay, let's lead with our titular character, Superman,
Yeah.
which
I don't
they
know.
are doing. But it's I don't know. To me,
Why
it's
are
like,
they putting
Well,
9
they're
other
leading with
characters
Superman
in?
and 300 other characters. in the
Exactly,
movie,
exactly.
Which
there you go.
terrifies
Let's
me as
start
well.
with,
But
let's
But
start
again-
with Avengers
but
Infinity
again-
War is the first
Yeah.
thing for Marvel. Great
Again,
call, yeah.
I
you know,
turned
whenever
over a
I'm
new
sure
leaf.
Zach for putting Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman in one movie and be like, well, he shoehorned all these characters. That's not how Marvel did it. Now it's just like,
Yeah, now we have Mr.
James Gunn is
Terrific,
opening his movie
Metamorpho.
with, like-
we how many other characters do we
A
have
lot.
in this thing? Like,
a lot.
actually, we should actually use that. That's a good segue. This came out a little while ago. What are you laughing at?
Just big Paul Blart guy.
Oh. The Mall Cop Kid.
Paul Blart, Mark,
Yeah.
Malcolm.
10 out of 10 film, by the way. The first one, remarkable movie.
Second one is cinematic
Yeah.
masterpiece.
Yeah, that one's like,
I'd
oh,
put it
man.
up there with like The Godfather.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Transcends
yeah.
space-time continuum.
Like, if
as
you
Paul
think, what
Blart.
are the greatest films ever made? I would put, like, Godfather Part 2, Persona, Citizen Kane, and,
Ingmar Bergman,
and
The
Paul
Child.
Blart 2.
right up there with Fritz Lang's M. Gotta throw that in there.
Neck and neck,
Yeah,
actually.
the mise-en-scene of Paul Blart's segue, the diegetic sound
Harkens
combines
back to
with-
the German expressionist movement.
just circling back really quickly to your point earlier, in
Yeah.
Goes
When
to
I was in
film
film
seminar.
school, people be like, come up to us in the hallways of film schools, like, real quick, top 3 films, like, M, Citizen Kane, and Paul Blart 2.
Citizen Kane.
Bicycle Thieves, Heat, and Paul Blart.
Un femme, un femme.
That's Femme and Femme is
And
that's actually one of my favorite movies of all time. Actually, not being sarcastic, I love the French
Birth of
New
a
Wave.
Nation. Another-
So, what'd you say?
Birth of a Nation. Yeah.
That's fuck that movie.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that was a good segue into going into the casting of Superman Legacy. This news kind of came out a little bit ago, but we officially have Nicholas Hoult cast as Lex Luthor.
Holt Renfrew.
When we were first talking about this, what were you gonna say?
No, I just said Holt Renfrew.
When we were actually first talking about the casting, you might remember when we were going through like the casting rumors. Basically, almost every character, like of the top like 3, not character, has been cast like kind of how we guessed.
Yeah.
So like David Cornsweet's
the best.
Yeah. We should be studio heads. David Cornsweet is Superman. Rachel Brosnahan is Lois Lane. Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor. Those are 3 great castings, I think. I think that's a solid
Yep.
start to your universe.
I'm glad. I remember when it was rumored that I think Holt was in the running for Superman instead, and we were like, please, God, no, ever.
And then we literally said, put him like as a Lex Luthor, which is exactly what they did.
Because Lex
And
is
we
also
also
one
have
of
a
those
Hawk Girl,
characters
Guy
that's,
Gardner, Metamorpho, and Mr. Terrific. So in that,
yeah. Not to mention whoever
No.
the villains end up being.
yeah, I know. Well, I mean,
Oh no, you forgot about GL as well is in there.
no, I said that.
Oh,
Guy
did
Gardner.
you? Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. All the other casting choices, I do like the idea of like Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. I think is a good choice. Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl is gonna be great. You know what I mean? So like, it's gonna be like the casting is gonna be good. It's just I want to make sure that those characters are well integrated into the Superman film. But we're gonna see what we get.
Yeah, and you know what? As much flack historically as we've given Gunn in the past,
No,
he is a good
not me.
writer.
I've turned over a new leaf. I apologize to him.
Yeah.
personally.
Personally,
Yeah.
I must say, like, obviously, if there's anyone that could pull off writing this many characters in, and we're just like, we're going with the viciously negative route of like, well, they're going to be integral, parts of this and blah, blah, blah. If they're just like there for 2 seconds and gone to establish that, like, okay, like these people exist and they could even be like a proto Justice League, however the hell, like they're actually going to play this, cool. As long as it's written well. And I think the same, like I was going to say when we were talking about Creature Commandos before, it's like, I completely agree with you that the ordering is so dumb. Like, why would you ever put that out first as your first property? But as long as it's written well and it's actually okay at this point,
It doesn't matter.
that's all that matters, which
Yeah.
is so sad to say because, like, usually, we're used to having
Like,
structure.
that's how low our standard.
Yes, it's like it just has to be
Are we
good.
going to enjoy this?
As long as
Oh,
you can
good.
tell a comprehensible story.
It could
will
be like
accept it.
it could be like a 30-minute like 8-bit sprite movie, and like as long as it's good,
Made in pivot stick.
Exactly.
7.1 on
literally
the first PC
on
ever
Windows
made.
XP.
Honestly, just release your script and your storyboard visualizers, and I'll
Sure.
piece it all together. As long as it's good, I'll be
That's
happy.
it. Piecemeal.
Peacemaker, another great show.
Mhm.
Yeah, he'll probably still be around, right?
100%.
Yeah.
They're
Someone
doing
asked
season
him-
2, yeah.
Someone asked him today on X today if Peacemaker season 2 be getting a new intro.
Who,
and he said
Gunn or
yes.
Cena?
Gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
how would
so
you ask John
really
Cena?
pertinent information. Well, yeah, it's really difficult to see him.
Thanks for picking that. You picked that.
Mr. Translucent.
Professor Opaque.
That's good.
OPAC Genesee.
All right, are we wrapped on the?
We're
DC
on one right
talk,
now.
or-
Yeah.
Speaking of franchises that we love, one more thing actually
And
before we
Armored
move on to
Dumpster
that.
Fire.
I don't know if you guys have seen, but there was an interview with Barry Kogan on I
Barry
think it
Keith
was
Grant.
the was it the Golden Globes? I think it was. Anyways, potentially returning as the Joker in the Batman 2. Awesome, love it.
So everything we didn't want
Awesome.
and
yeah.
no one asked for.
Well,
Perfect.
yeah. Like before we jump to too many conclusions here, though, we don't know the kind of role.
It was
that the Joker's
inevitable
gonna-
he was gonna come back. It's just
Really?
again, it's like you
I don't
said.
know. I kind of hoped that it was just kind of like so. Here's the thing. No offense to him. He's a great actor. But I personally am not a fan of that small snippet that we got of the Joker. I also don't really want to see the Joker in another
it's the
Batman
same.
movie for a while.
Yeah.
And like, Joker is one of my favorite like villains. But it's like we've seen him so many
So
times. We literally have a Joker sequel that's coming out later this year. I just don't want that character to become too oversaturated.
Yeah.
So it's like leave him out of this. I would be very disappointed if they decided to make the Joker a main villain in the Batman 2.
Yeah, no.
Like
I don't
use
think they
this
will.
opportunity, this weird and I say weird in the most complimentary way. Use this kind of like weird kind of take on Batman to explore a different character.
I
or
want a
different
Professor
villain.
Pig or Mr. Freeze.
I think a Mr.
or-
Freeze.
won't
It
be
will be
Pig.
Even
because he
even
denied
Scarecrow
that.
would be sick though. Like
Yeah.
Scarecrow would be sick.
I actually don't even want to see Scarecrow again.
yeah, honestly, even that's too
Like,
soon.
I would
don't
say
know.
I'm okay with that one over the Joker though. I'll take another Scarecrow interpretation over another Joker interpretation. 'Cause it's
yeah,
like
okay, I would
Scarecrow in
agree.
Nolan's
I agree.
movies
I
was
agree.
like very like he was very tertiary in the background. Like he was not even really the main villain of the first one. Like he was like the secondary villain of the first movie.
If it's gonna be Scarecrow, I want him to go full like Wizard
Arkham
of Oz
Asylum.
Scarecrow with
Like,
it.
oh,
You know what I mean?
What's that?
Wizard
I
of
would
Oz.
want them to go full Wizard of Oz Scarecrow with it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But no, but here's the thing, and I think I've said this
Just a
before.
straw man in a field.
I think,
If I only had a brain. Who doesn't have the brain? Who knows?
No idea.
but no, I don't know. So we'll see. But he didn't even like explicitly say. If you watch the interview, he was like, "Oh, well, I can't say anything." But then he was kind of like, letting you on and be like, "I'm in it."
I like the idea of him being just kind of like he has a relationship with Batman as like he just goes back to see him every once in a while in Arkham as like his informant or somebody. Like I don't like I don't know like that kind of idea like
Yeah.
that relationship. What
no,
I don't know. I like that idea. Is just they're having a conversation every once in a while. They talk for 3 seconds and then he dips and then you don't see the Joker again. Like
True.
That
I
would
think
be
at that point though, it's like why even have him in there? Just
Why even waste screen
Bye.
time on that shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, I think I've said this before, but I think they can kind of get away with doing in this universe, kind of turning it up a little bit, doing their more far-fetched, like sci-fi-ish villains in a way. Because you think about the state of Gotham, it's all flooded, power vacuum with like the Penguin. It's like I would love to see like it would be a perfect. It wouldn't be too far
going
off to
into
do a
winter
Mr.
time as
Freeze.
well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow,
That's
that
what I'm
would've been
saying.
cool.
Yeah. Anyways.
won't see it. But
Speaking of other franchises that we love, some cool Star Wars news was actually announced, I believe, today. So Ahsoka is getting renewed for a second season, which we were kind of on the fence about if it was going to go right into a theatrical film after
Yeah.
the events of season 1. But I kind of like that it's going to remain a show.
I wonder if that's going to be before the big announcement of like the feature film of Grogu and the Mandalorian. If
That was
that's-
my next one, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I beat you to it.
No, it's okay.
well, they said they're going into production this year on that movie, so
Both
I'm
of them, I
assuming it's
think.
going to come.
I think both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe so.
Ahsoka 2's in production too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like actual production.
I
Well,
think
that's in pre
pre-production.
though. They said
Pre-production?
production for
Oh.
the
Oh,
movie, so
I
I'm
see.
assuming
Yeah,
the
because
movie's
Mando
gonna come
season
out.
3 has been like
Came out a little while ago, right?
Yeah.
2 years. 2 years. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would assume it would be ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Like in terms of Ahsoka.
Because like I'm thinking, like, are they gonna? Because now that Thrawn's a thing, like, is it just gonna be like Grogu and the Mandalorian off doing whatever, and
Or
then they're gonna
will
go
it be
into
like Superman Legacy, version 2, and it's like
Exactly.
them, but then all that is the movie where they're all in
Well,
it.
that's what I mean. I'm wondering what.
But
comes
maybe
up
like
first
Mando
or-
and Grogu are
yeah.
like at the heart of it somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if they were to do that, they can do that because now they've established all these characters over the course of X Men number of seasons, right?
And out of 10, how much do you think they're gonna shit on Thrawn and make him the worst villain you've ever seen? Probably a 12.
I don't think so.
No.
No, I'm gonna hold out hope.
Because if he doesn't just come back, like it's the same. Okay, never mind. You know what? I'm not gonna go off.
No.
Unless they make him like a Thanos.
This is a safe place.
Talk
Out
to
there is not a safe place, but here is.
I think like we have to verify whether or not this is taking the place of that like team up movie that they said. I don't think it is, because that one was supposedly going to be directed by Filoni. So if they're still going with that, then maybe Thrawn will be like the overarching villain, kind of like a Thanos leading.
That's okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
leading
bringing
up to that like that team up
Yes.
movie, because I think Ahsoka has to be the main
Yes,
protagonist
absolutely.
against him.
I agree.
Unless
100%.
they decide to scrap that movie and maybe get rid of Thrawn in her season 2 and then move on to something else. But I don't know. I think they'd be doing themselves an injustice.
He still needs his Thanos moment of like the Infinity War where you're actually scared of him, not
Yeah.
like I'm just going to throw TIE fighters at these people and run away.
Mhm.
Wow, terrifying.
The Mandalorian and Grogu film is actually supposed to be directed by John Favro,
by Johnny. Yeah.
which I'm excited for that.
he
Yeah.
created the show, didn't he? Like he was.
He created the
he
characters.
created the characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I have faith in that.
Well, he created Star Wars,
yeah. He was born before
As
George
we know
Lucas.
it,
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of,
yeah.
actually.
as we know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Star Wars is going to be an interesting is going to be an interesting franchise going forward. I think they're kind of like reaching a sort of turning point too.
They got to
Um,
get back into the movie space.
Yep.
Like,
I don't
They
want to
just
see
have to.
stuff every 2 weeks of like how Marvel's doing it right now. Let it breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Give us time. Actually take time on your shows and movies, and especially look out for that new Rey movie too. That'll be a good one.
Yep.
We're all looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Sorry if you are looking forward to that. I just don't care. So-
We just I and like I just have a bad taste in my mouth from that trilogy,
That era.
right? Like
Yeah.
In general, yeah.
Mhm.
I
And then
don't know.
it's all great too when you go to like the Disney parks and it's Rey's lightsaber instead of Anakin's lightsaber.
Oh.
Ray Skywalker.
Yeah,
Oh,
like Rey actually has her own lightsaber, so that's
that is Rey's lightsaber that we see for
flip this fucking table.
we see it for all of 7 seconds at the end of the last movie. Anyway,
Anyways, sorry.
I thought we were totally done with that sequel trilogy, but it keeps coming back to haunt us. The only thing is
it's like herpes.
how would you continue? It's like how would you continue that story? You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, supposedly she's gonna be,
Should be what
recreating the
Luke was
Jedi
supposed
Order,
to be,
yeah.
actually. So,
Oh, awesome!
yeah.
Perfect. If
Yeah.
only we had that character
Yeah.
still. Oh wait, we did
with all her
Wow.
training. Yeah, with
Yep.
all her training.
If only we had source material to follow, right, Kathleen?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. One of my favorite directors of all time did a lot of really great things with that character, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling Johnson.
He'd probably
Yeah,
make
I
a
don't know, man.
phenomenal
Like
Star Wars movie.
this year is, I think, 2023. Like we had some good stuff in that year, but I think this year is gonna be a little rougher. We're just in like an era where everything is kind of changing, and I think like these big franchises within the next couple of years are gonna kind of start to lose their like positioning in the Hollywood kind of like system in a way.
We're gonna see the deconstruction of how, like, these big budget movies are approached now. Like, I think the way of the blockbuster is gonna be a lot different than what we've been used to for the last. I'd even say 40 years, like even since like the 80s. Like, it's just escalated to a point now where the amount of money that's just being flooded into these movies. Like, I think the last 6 or 7 movies that Disney's put out has lost them. Like, they haven't even made half of their budget back, right? Like, the Disney stock has plummeted so much. They've lost like $6 billion this year.
It's because of the Disney Plus like mantra that they've given themselves. Because
But
like
they're-
you know what though, a lot of them were like, especially I don't know if you're referring to like the Pixar ones that have come out recently too, but like
Not all of them. Everything Disney's put out, they've lost. Like
no. But what I'm saying is like Elemental was like actually a good movie. Like it's a very phenomenally made movie, and like they probably made little to no return because no one watched it on Disney Plus. And I don't know if it had a limited theatrical run or not, but like it probably didn't make money there if it did. So it's like
I'm just talking about the amount of money
actually a
and
good movie. I
resources
like
being
it.
pooled into these big movies, like these big Marvel movies that they're cost $800 million to make and aren't even coming close to, you know, reaching that budget back. Like I think we're gonna start to see a lot of cutbacks in terms of how much money is actually, or maybe not how much money, but how many of those movies get made every year, right? Like I think we're gonna see, you know, a big,
and then
I don't even think we have. I mean, other than Deadpool, I think that's the only Marvel movie this year. Thank
And
heavens.
I mean, on the like actual production side of things, like Gareth Edwards there with the creator showed too that you can make high level looking movies for like
Then that movie cost like $80 million or something like that.
it was so
like,
cheap comparatively speaking because he literally shot it on like what we
Like a
shoot
handheld
the Sony
Sony,
FS7.
Yeah, like it was crazy, man. Like
Yeah.
watching those behind the scenes. But then obviously, you know, they had like Weta Digital and ILM like doing the VFX. So, you know, that kind of helps when you have them on your team. But still, like the actual production side of stuff was really interesting to see how that movie was made. But I agree with what you're saying is like
The either the amount of money or the quantity of movies that comes out every
Yeah.
year is going to start to drastically change.
Mhm.
And
like
you know,
maybe give people a breather to actually appreciate.
you know,
well,
again,
speaking
like,
of film school though, like everything's cyclical. I know Alex, you always bring this up, but like, you know, it's like what we saw earlier with like the Western genre. I mean, superheroes kind of reaching its like it's plateauing heavily, and
Yeah.
you know that leaves. It's actually kind of exciting because that leaves a lot of room for other things to kind of make way into
That's what was going to be
filmmaking
my
space.
next point. Is I'm like kind of looking forward to within this like next like half of the decade. I think we're going to kind of start to see independent films and more creator-owned properties kind of come more into like the main sort of space. You're seeing it happen with a couple of things. I mean, like, you know, there was a couple films that, like, I don't know if you guys have seen, like, Saltburn, like, around, like, Amazon
I've been hearing
Prime
about
and
it.
all
People
that.
are-
Like,
yeah, a lot of people are.
a couple other ones, like Eileen, the one that's based on the book, the Tessa Moshfegh book about the
That's Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway one. Like, these are, like, smaller budget films that are, like, their own contained sort of stories. But, I mean, you know, I think we need another... Those are kind of becoming more into like the public space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Saltburn, there's like they put a lot of money behind like the advertising behind it. There's like people are open to watching different things.
Yeah.
It's just the ones that make like are the super mega hits that made like big money. Well, like, you know, 5-6 years ago, like that was the case. Not so much anymore, but it's just the studios need to kind of retool and just kind of rethink of how they approach it, which I think they're doing. Obviously, it's just, you know, we're coming from
Very
the
slowly.
perspective as like fans who just want to watch great stuff,
You know,
right?
at the end of the day, like, just write good stuff.
Yeah.
Pay your writers.
I don't care if
the
it costs
writers
you $3 to make or 300 million. Like, write it well.
Yeah.
Pay your writers.
Start with
don't,
that.
don't
Wow.
do
And then go from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They did a good bit at the Golden Globes. Sorry to divert, but they did a good bit at the Golden Globes where it was just like they were reading off of the teleprompter, like announcing the next person. They're like, this is what would happen if AI wrote it, and it's like it's just complete nonsensical garbage. Like they're like, see, this is why you need to pay writers. Like they were just took a shot at like the whole strike that happened. So
We'll see. We're still holding out hope,
Yeah.
and we're still being optimistic.
Yep.
So, you
Just
know,
like Luke Skywalker was written in the news. Very hopeful.
Big optimist.
Like he was supposed to be, you know?
Yeah. No.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No.
Anyways.
No.
yeah.
At least he was hopeful in Mando. Oh, actually, Boba Fett for 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, true.
well,
Huge plan, guys.
Anyways, yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to our first podcast back in 2024. New year, new us. We're
Newt
ready.
Gingrich.
We're ready to watch new stuff this year. It's gonna be good. No, there's gonna be a couple of good things coming up this year, but it's gonna be interesting the next couple of years to see how everything kind of plays out. I mean, shit. Now, like next year, Superman Legacy's coming out. You know, like it doesn't seem so far away anymore.
And the Batman Part 2. It's
And
going to be a
the Batman Part 2.
heater of a year for us.
Yeah,
We're going to be back in full swing DC mode.
Good.
Good.
It's about time.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So let us know what you guys think. We would love to hear your feedback. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because you guys know it helps us out over here. And if you're listening on any audio-only platforms like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star rating. But other than that, until next time,
okay, see you.
I guess we'll see ya.
Bye.